What is a KPI in project management? In this video, I'm going to cover the details of what makes a key performance indicator and some KPIs that really help us out on a construction project. If you are interested in that, please stay with us. So let's talk about what a KPI is and what a KPI is not. A KPI is really a signal. It's a measurement. It's telling you whether or not we're on track and if there is a course correction needed. It's not necessarily a report or a dashboard or anything like that. It's a signal. It's telling you if there's a system component that's failing that needs attention. And that actually brings me to another point, that all of your key performance indicators should measure accurately the component part of the system and relate to the overall system as a whole. Meaning that you don't want to measure a KPI in such a way that it throws the system out of balance, right? Let me give you an example of that in construction. Is if you only measure from a budget standpoint whether or not you're on budget for your general conditions and general requirements, right? And if you're like, that is the measurement of the success of this project from a financial standpoint, and we don't really focus too much on the subcontracts, whether or not we're under budget from an overall perspective, but we're really honing in right on those indirects and we're really wanting to get those down. Let's say hypothetically I was a project manager and I really want to make sure my general conditions and general requirements, those budgets were low, then I might reduce things like training, advanced prep, additional staff, pre-construction time, and that would fail the project because we know that not having enough people to run the project effectively and not having pre-construction time is a fail in the system and will fail that system. So that key performance indicator is measuring one thing, but it's not helping you with the overall system. And it will fail the system if you take it out of bounds, I would say, or take it to the extreme. So it's not a report, it's not a dashboard, it's not just a number for executives, it's a signal. And let me talk about a couple of other things that are very, very important. Number one, I love key performance indicators or leading indicators and not lagging indicators. Let me explain what I mean by that. A leading indicator will basically prevent the problem from happening. It will measure or become a signal for the process or the action that needs to be taken before something goes wrong. So that KPI will actually signal us to do something that will prevent something from bad from happening. A lagging indicator will tell you how well you did, but it will be after the fact. So yes, you can do a root cause. Yes, you can go back and look at how you did. Yes, you can change your behavior for the future, but it is a lagging indicator. I would prefer leading indicators instead of lagging indicators. And because of that leading and lagging indicator problem, we really find that most KPIs in construction fail because they are lagging indicators. I'll give you a couple of examples. Now, I love safety KPIs 100%, so I'm not trashing on any of those. We need to have them. But if your safety KPIs, and most of them are lagging indicators, if they are lagging indicators, meaning how many injuries did you have, how many first days did you have, how many recordables did you have, that is after the fact. And we also need KPIs that will prevent these incidents from happening in the first place, right? Like, are we doing the proper safety planning? What is the percentage of people on site with a pre-task plan? What is the percentage of people that actually understand how to perform their work safely? What is the percentage of work that actually has pre-planning fully baked with crews that understand it? Let me give you another example. Percent plan complete. And I love the last planner system, so don't get me wrong. But the percent plan complete or percent promises complete is, again, another lagging indicator. And it says after the fact, how many of these activities did we not deliver as promised? I love that because you can then go do, it doesn't have to be big, but a root cause analysis and find out what happened. And then you can find out what your variances are and then take corrective action. But most of the time that doesn't happen. I would prefer to have leading indicators, again, KPIs, that will tell us whether or not we're going to head in a direction of not being able to hit our promises, right? How well are we removing roadblocks? What is the turnaround time? What's the average time before impact that we're removing roadblocks, right? What is our remaining buffer ratio? How well are we doing with our perfect handoffs? These are things that are leading indicators that I would prefer to see. So most KPIs in construction actually fail because we're measuring the wrong things. And the other thing that I want to talk about, which is very, very important, in addition to having the KPI, the key performance indicator, measure the right system component so that it supports the overall system, we have to make sure that it's supporting the right thing. And that is always going to be flow. Oh, I've got a really good example for this. Like, let's say, for instance, you measure as a KPI, what is the percentage of time that your equipment is working? Or let's say that you actually, and this is hypothetical, I actually haven't seen this before, but you measure how busy workers are. And actually, I have seen this before, how busy a zone is and whether or not it has always been worked on. Those are very detrimental, because if you start to measure whether or not equipment is busy or people are busy all the time, you will start to overproduce. And we know from the 8 Wastes in Construction from Paul Akers, is where I learned it, that if you overproduce, you have excess inventory, which means that you have transportation in motion, which means you have defects, which you have to fix, which is overprocessing. And then you literally have waiting, and it's all a waste because you don't use the genius of the team. Your KPIs should measure flow. And again, I'll just give you the answer right now for the ones that I absolutely love. I love the KPIs from a scheduling standpoint that deal with flow, like how well our perfect handoff percentage is going, how well we are adjusting constraints, our roadblock removal average, which is how long will it take us to fix and remove a roadblock, or you can track the time between when you remove it and its impact on average, right? I like to track those, and they track flow instead of tracking something that could lead us into overproduction or hurt people, which I do not like. And so the bottom line for me when it comes to KPIs is it has to be usable, it has to track to the right thing, it has to, for me, support the overall system, and it has to really support everything in the field that will enable flow, and the flow of trade specifically. And so let me go ahead and give you some of the KPIs that I absolutely love, and I think you'll love them too. So here are some of the KPIs. Let me just go ahead and summarize some of the most important ones for you from a scheduling standpoint. Your remaining buffer ratio, which tracks how you're aligning to your milestones. Your roadblock removal average, which is how well you're removing roadblocks out ahead. Your perfect handoff percentage, which is beautiful when it comes to tracking flow. Percent plan complete, yes, this is a lagging indicator, but I still like to track it, and you will see a difference between your perfect handoff percentage and your PPC, and knowing how both of them are tracking are very important. I love to track the normal safety KPIs, our lost time incident rate, our recordable incident rate, participation with pre-task plans and safety preparation. I always love to track how the team is doing. I would actually prefer to do this on a weekly basis, but one KPI for me that's so important is our team health score. 2 other KPIs that I love when it comes to quality is, and I love these so much, and they're super possible, I see them all the time, is the percentage of trades that have begun with a proper pre-construction meeting. And then this is the big one, number 2, the percentage of field crews installing with a visual feature of workboard from that pre-construction meeting that is visible for the crew that came from that pre-construction meeting. Or you can say their installation work package. But the percentage of those being used in the field is crucial. And then for me, from a financial standpoint, I always do want to check my gross profit. I want to always know where my contingency buckets are. And those are the bare minimum. If you want me to, I can give you a whole lot more KPIs that I like to use in our construction company and that our clients use. If you want, just reach out to me in the comments. But the bottom line is, let's not just take KPIs, key performance indicators, numbers, signals, because the industry has used them for so long. Let's make sure that every one of them adds value, and as close as we possibly can, like you heard me say, some of them are still lagging indicators, as close as we possibly can, or as far as we can, take them in the right direction with the guidelines that I've given you. But the bottom line is a KPI should give you a signal to take action to provide real results. And I will give you a blog post in the description below that describes this, and reach out to us if you ever need any help. And again, I would love to share these resources, so reach out to me. I hope you've loved this video. On we go.